What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, ReadoptionAgency.com, 22 years, selling full-time on eBay. Before we get started, please like this video because for every like on any of my videos, it's like kicking a field goal with the balls of a troll. Biggity bam. Hit that like. And I kind of paid attention to the numbers yesterday, and like 40% of my viewers are not subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, because maybe one day I'll say something important, and you don't want to miss it. Maybe is the key word there. Maybe. What's going on, people? All right, we are at Friday, December 15th, 10 days before the old Christmas day. Yesterday went up a little bit for me. It was weird. It was like about 6 o'clock. Everything kind of just shut off for a while. So I saw like a shut off. But for the most part, the day as a whole was good. $742. Fourth biggest day of the month so far. So that's good. We are at 10 a.m. right now, and I am at $182. So that's good also. 46 items sold yesterday, 33 promoted, 13 organic. 8 sold today so far, 6 promoted, 2 organic. Ooh, it's Friday. I haven't done like the top 5 in a while. Let's do top 5. Items sold. Or categories sold, I should say. Same period last year, because I know it's going to be down. I want to see how much. All right. So this past week sold $5,208, down 24% from last year. 314 items sold, down 30% from last year. Average price per item, $16.60, up 8.2%. So that's good. Oh, wow. My number one has been dethroned again. Top 5 categories I sold this past week on eBay. Number 5, men's t-shirts, $217.42 compared to last year, down 26%. Number 4 on the list, vinyl records, $571, up 22.4%. Number 3 is normal, cassette tapes, $610, down 21.2%. Hats, men's hats. I'm not sure why these are taking such a beating this year. At number 2, dethroned, $781, down 42% in the hat department. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm going to see what it's compared to last week. Number 1, music CDs, $1,112, down 2.4% from last year. So I've been putting up a lot of those hard rock CDs and stuff, so that's pretty much what's been generating that. The hats are down 11% from the week before. So my hats are taking a beating right now, probably because there's probably a lot more people selling them. So, honorable mention, DVDs and Blu-rays, $197, up 89.6%, so up 90%. Other formats, Media's been killing it the last several days. Media has been killing it. Media is a good stocking stuffer. Let's just say that. That's what it appears like anyway. Other formats after that, $154, up 78%. So media is killing it with hats and men's t-shirts hanging in there. Yay. Let's do some questions and comments. I got some things here to ship out. No posh. All right, comments. Let's go. Let's see what here. Just a side note, as I go through end of year inventory, check your older listings. I have found multiple items not listed, and I know I listed them. Yeah, that happens quite often. Sometimes it can happen by, various reasons, but there's always that mystery reason also on top of it. So yes, it happens. But yeah, I can't. There's various reasons over the years why my stuff may not be listed, so I can never say, oh, it's eBay, because it could have been something I ended because it was in the store for too long before I had a bigger amount of item numbered stuff to play with, or just an item that sold and I never listed it after it canceled, etc., etc. So there's a lot of different reasons for me, so I don't pay attention to that until I go through a tote. So I was looking for one of my promoted items on eBay, and guess what? It is nowhere to be found. Are they even hiding some promotional listings? So screwed up. Could be anything from the search not working properly to a lot of the theory about location to the fact that it just seems to be hiding stuff. It could be a million and one things right now. James, I have had the same 5-ish years as you. Everything you mentioned, financial loss of my, or finances, loss of my sister after long illness, 2 pets in 2 weeks. After sister passed, my mom moved out of the country to be with my sister and her family, where she would have the best last of her years. She's 85 this month, and I dropped her to the airport 1 year ago, December 1st. Mom is my best friend in the world, so that hurts so much not seeing her. I have Dad here. He's 85 too, and good right now, but facing their ages hurts too. Yeah. It's my mom I lost in 2009, but I always viewed my mom's as self-inflicted because she smoked her whole life and she died of lung cancer. So I took it hard, but not as hard as my dad, I guess. But yet what's weird is I was closer to my mom. I looked at my mom, but my mom was very selfish. So I looked at her death as more of a selfish, self-inflicted thing mentally. And it probably would have been different if I would have spent years taking care of her like I did my dad. It probably would have been totally different. My dad stopped smoking probably 40 years ago, and my mom kept smoking around him anyway. But he was on he had to carry around the oxygen tanks with him for the last 40 years. So he had to stop. But yeah. What's going on, Miss Lachey? I've lived long enough to know and observe that what's happening in the economy at any current time is more a result of what happened in the previous years than what's happening currently. Oh boy, do I remember. I would say I would agree with that before the digital age. I think the digital age, things can happen a lot quicker. Prior to, I would say, 2000s would probably be yes. I think from 2010-ish on, things can happen more, at least from my ignorant observations, things I see, reactions and stuff of what I don't go digging into anything. Just from things I see, things could be changed overnight. But there's one problem. Politicians like making money. Big businesses like making money. How do politicians go into politics with a salary that all of a sudden makes them multi-millionaires and not billionaires, yet the salary doesn't dictate that? That's because they're getting paid And if you do a favor, you're going to be on a payroll. Why do you think? It's like all these, they get these $100,000 speaking routines, at wherever, because they did some favors and saved somebody a lot of money. And not really saved them a lot of money, but took a lot of money from us to give to them. Let's just put it that way. That's kind of my viewpoint on it. Like, everything that is a problem right now could be changed overnight. And if I could figure that out, politicians can figure that out, but they don't want to figure that out. That's the problem. It's all about the money. I am the person, though, I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, there's probably a cure for cancer in the deep military, but there's no money in cures. So us, even low-grade politicians, we're never going to know anything about that kind of stuff. Because if you look at something like HIV, AIDS, and you take somebody like Magic Johnson, how long ago before there was and there still ain't even a cure for it, you can become non-detectable. But if you got the money, you're going to get the answers you want. I learned, thankfully, coming up from nothing, I learned at a very young age, money is power. If you don't want to sit around this ghetto the rest of your life and complain and bitch just like everybody else in the neighborhood does, do something to make money. Put yourself in a situation where you don't have to care. Like right now with the economy, the only reason I care is because the business. It's affecting the business. Personally, I don't care if gas is $6. I'm still going to go there and buy it, and I ain't even going to pay attention to the price. I'm still going to eat food, even if it's triple the price, because I put myself in a position not to care about that. So when I care about something, it's more for like either from a business point of view or from a more massive point of view, not really a selfish point of view. Like, I wish everybody could be in a better position, because the one good thing about what's the word I'm looking for? The environment we live in, not socialism, but capitalism. The one good thing about capitalism is once one person's doing better, everybody starts doing better, because everybody helps everybody out. We don't rely on politicians in the real world, right? We're going to help a neighbor out when we can. We're going to help anybody out, no matter. And I think that's the thing I makes me most angry about what's going on today with all the separations, and how you can tell it's pure government design with all these different separations, everything from left and right to, now people are holding Christmas parties, but I saw that yesterday, but no white people allowed. I'm like, really? And from somebody who's been on this earth 52 years, I look at that and go, I'm just dumbfounded. I'm like, huh? But it's all by design. It's all by design to keep people separated. And if you keep people separated and mad and poor, you control them. When you give them money, money is power. They help each other out, and everybody rises. The last thing the government wants to do is give the power to the people. That's pretty much the bottom line, no matter what people's, thoughts, opinions, feelings, and everything is. The bottom line is what matters. And if people would start realizing that, things would change, but probably only for a short time, until they figured out another way to split the sea, if you know what I mean. So that's why I don't live in the world. I don't live in the United States. I live in James's world. I'm proud of the land I walk on. I am I will step over ants because I respect all life. I won't step on a flower, or, I try not even step on weeds. I mean, like, I don't want to kill anything. So I have a respect for everything. Almost like a hippie type of thing, I guess, but I'm not that drastic. I'm not like all hippie-ish or anything like that. But I just have a respect for life. More like spiritual energy feel, And I'm not really into that either. I live in James's world, and I built it so I don't have to worry about all the BS that goes on in society, because humans could be a lot further. Actually, humans are a lot further. We just don't know about it. I guarantee you there is how do you think that, like, military has technology 15 years advance of what we see? That right there tells you society. Because if they cared about society and you and me, as soon as that technology is a thing, it would be a thing for helping us out. But we got to wait 15 years. How long did it take to get fiber optics? Something as simple as fiber optics. So the bottom line is money is power, and get as much money as you can, because then you don't have to worry about a damn thing. I think that's the bottom line. Wow, that went on and on, didn't it? Woo! I wish more people would wake up and see, And I think that's what, like, a lot of the younger generations now, they're being so focused one direction or another that they can't see the whole damn forest and what's really going on until they start living a little bit and realizing, hopefully they're not too far brainwashed by the time they hit 30 years old to go, hey, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. So, but I created my world, so I don't have to worry about that. James, I just saw a video about selling records at a show. Dude mentioned there will be a big record show in St. Louis in January. Could be good YouTube content. Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 times a year at the Machinist, not the Machinist Hall here. I think it might be the Carpenter's Hall. It's down on Kings Highway downtown. I used to go when I lived in the city and worked in the music store, but I haven't been there in decades. James and Russell Brand are tied for the 2 best dressed men on YouTube. That was said on my blues video. Not because I got a blues jersey on. All right, let me get some shipping. I talked too much already. Let's do some shipping. See what sold. All right. That was just paid for. That was just paid for. No, I got that one. So only one just paid for. I didn't pull that, did I? Nope. Shelf 43. La Differencia? Or something like that. La Differencia? La Differencia. Differencia. La Differencia. Differencia. Where are you at? Where you at? Where? There you are. All right, got it. I think I got everything now. Boink. And then the thing about governments and just even like local and state and all that is the amount of red tape they put on things just to make things harder on the normal people. Purchase shipping label. And the one way around it. All right, it's going to Canada. It's going to the UK. First up, we've got the Sinatra Christmas album. CD sold for $9.98. Headed to Florida. It's resurfaced. Let me change out this back side of this case. Pretty grody. Upward. We got Lou Rawls 45. Sold for $6.30, headed to New York. Well, hell, how'd that happen? My finger got caught. Well, that sucks. That was an original piece, too. Bummer. I'll put that one with it and a backup. Just in case. Boom, boom, boom. Just in case. I just wish people would learn that to get anything done properly, you have to stick together. That's why they go after them young. When you actually can separate yourself from a situation and like really watch it and observe it and kind of see it as a whole, you get a whole new perspective on stuff. Swing Out Sisters, 12-inch record, headed to Kentucky, sold for $35. I think that's the one beauty about, you know, like not only putting yourself in a position not to care about what the gas prices are, or what the food prices are, or whatever. You know, putting yourself in a position to not care about pointless things that, or I shouldn't say pointless things, but things that are politics basically, and who's in and who's not, and where was I going with that? Like, you don't have to care about it, you know? You can be selfish about it. You want the best for everybody, but at the end of the day, you know what? I'm still going to sleep because I'm fine type of feel, you know? Like, you have to build that for yourself in order. Because that was when I grew up. I mean, there were so many people who were just complain about their situation, where they were living, not having money for this, not having money for that. But at the end of the day, they weren't doing anything to better themselves, you know? So, you know, you not only learn in life what to do from other people, you learn what not to do. Slim Forever for Women Subliminal Self-Help Cassette. Headed to Oklahoma, sold for $10. And I'm thankful I was able to see that side of life. That it's not just blame others or learn what is taught, but learn from what you see, you know. Shut up and pay attention type of thing, you know. I mean, if I wouldn't have found reselling, I would have died trying to find something, you know. I wouldn't have been sitting around doing nothing and blaming things. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Vinyl record sold for $13, headed out to California. And then you also learn, too, that when you have no responsibility in life, your thought process is totally different from when you do have responsibility. When you're young, you're more like save the world. When you're older, you go, the world's going to save itself when it wants to. We don't have to save the world. The world's going to get rid of us when it's ready to. The world's not going anywhere. The earth is not going anywhere. We, on the other hand, we're going to go somewhere. And that's called extinction. Because what makes us any different than any other life form on this? Probably our brains. That's why I often wonder, like, too, I used to always think, like, we were on Mars before we were on Earth. That what you see Mars is future Earth. That we found a way to get off of the planet before it was totally destroyed. Then it was totally destroyed, atmosphere, whatever. Now we're here. And I believe that technology is still here in deep state. I mean, when you have an astronaut that says there are buildings, ancient buildings on the dark side of the moon because he's seen them, you know there's more to the story or the backstory than what we really know. So, Brittany Fox Girls School cassette tape, headed to Florida, sold for $10. Like with all the stories that I've heard from astronauts who's gone up about the moon, when I picture the moon, I don't picture a planet. I picture basically a space capsule is what I picture. That was scientifically created to be as perfect as it is, to do exactly what it does. Doesn't do natural things. Nature's not perfect, but yet it fits perfectly in front of the sun during an eclipse. You know, you only see one side of it the whole time. You know, it doesn't spin. So it's not natural. And that kind of goes with all the stories I listen to astronauts talk about. From the whole ringing sound when they drop the capsule back off at liftoff. And that happened twice on 2 different occasions. Because they noticed it one time, so then they did it again the second time with a little bit more force and heard a bigger ringing sound. And then you have the ones who say that they know there are like mushroom-shaped buildings on the dark side of the moon. So But see, knowledge is power also. And the less we know, the less powerful we will be. Rise to Honor PS2 video game. Headed to New York, sold for $7. That's why you have to create your own world. Because if you live in the world that's been created for us by society, you're probably going to be miserable 90% of the time. Toby. Next up, we've got some Nike shoes. So for $10, headed to Ohio. Really fits in here. So like creating my own world. One of my golden rules, if you will. You're never going to know everything, no matter how hard you try, because there are truths that are going to be hidden from you because you don't have enough money or power to see them. Sheila. I think that's why there's a lot more stress on performers and people who become entertainers who make millions and whatever, because they get to see more because they have the power. But in return, they're kind of controlled more, like, shush, or we will make it all go away. Bruce Hornsby cassette, headed to Montana, sold for $7. Because, like, would I know if I wasn't in an inner circle or in today's age? Would I know that there's penthouse suites at the top of hotels that are the size of apartment building or apartments, and they got everything from bowling alleys to, in them? I would not have known that if somebody with money didn't tell me that, who experienced it. And, obviously when I say me, I mean TV. I think that's why a lot of them have nervous breakdowns and stuff, to be honest with you. Not just the pressure of what they do in their job, they're performing, but the pressures of the society as a whole. I mean, how would you feel if you knew that there was, let's just use cure for cancer as an example. If you knew that there was a cure for cancer, but yet you still see all these people dying from cancer, how would that weigh on you mentally? If you knew 100% this is the truth, because somebody or you yourself had the money to change an outcome, but yet you're not allowed to say anything about it. That would weigh on at least a normal person, I mean, that would be devastating if I knew 100% that was a fact, because I've seen it. And if you're a caring person, that will affect you. So what are the things out there that people with money get to see that we don't, that they're really not allowed to talk about because they're part of a privileged society, if you will. How do we get into this? Wow. Tenero CD long box headed to North Dakota, sold for $9.95. The things I talk about on here, it's not always about eBay, huh? I'll talk about whatever's on my mind. I mean, we all should always talk about whatever's on our mind, you know? That's how we get more powerful as people, as individuals. Putting our heads together. Next up, we've got, I forgot that one. It's in box 8, which is right there. John Conley, Love, Miss. John Conley, Miss. We got a John Conley 45 record. Sold for $9.95. Yay! Headed to California. I think that's why I gotta get more mailers. I've always loved the little things in life. Because that's where you can make the biggest changes in people's life, the little things, you know? And that's why I've always just loved the little things. The wearing a hat that makes somebody smile. Wearing a t-shirt that makes somebody smile. Smiling at somebody to make somebody smile. The little things. Because there's power in everything you do. So are you going to use that power for good or for evil? I'm talking now in like a kind of going in a direction I've never been before. Using little powers for good or for evil. You have the power to make somebody smile. You have the power to make somebody cry. Which one are you going to use? Does it depend on how you feel today? Which power you use? Well, that's not very nice now, is it? I'm going down thoughts I never thought of before. So, next up, King Cobra. Vinyl record sold for $12, headed to Oregon. You may not think there's power in little things, but if I'm having a bad day and somebody just smiles at me randomly at the gas station or something, that's going to make me smile. And that's going to, may not change the outcome, but smiling changes your feeling a little bit, changes something in your body. Or just when I'm having a bad day and I smile at somebody and see they smile, that makes me feel better, you know? That's power. There's power there. People need to start there. If you start to learn how to use the little things the little powers to your advantage, then just maybe you can grow your power over time to help even more people. Make more of a change or differences in other people's lives. Gloria Vanderbilt jeans. Headed to Pennsylvania, sold for $20. I'm just talking now, so I'm not sure where this is going, so don't take my... Of course, you always know, don't take everything I say as gospel. I'll give you my thoughts, opinions, and histories, and from my perspectives, all that good stuff. Doesn't make them right, doesn't make them wrong. It makes them mine. And it only matters if it's good or bad. That's the bottom line there. Your different thoughts, opinions, feelings, it's all good. It doesn't matter if it's coming from a good spot, you know? It doesn't matter that it's different. If it's coming from a good place, you're just on a journey. Next up, we've got a Jack in the Box. I almost didn't put this up because they were only like $4 and $5 with like free shipping. I'm like, no, I'm going to put it up for my low end, $9.95. Sold for $9.95 plus the shipping. Headed to Florida. I had access to my smaller boxes. I know I got a lot more smaller boxes in there, but I don't want to, since it's styrofoam, I don't want to just put it in a mailer and it gets squashed. They're like hidden in the very back because I rarely used them. 8x6x4. I think that's one reason why I like talking about everything. Because I could talk about, and I do, we'll talk about anything. And I'll be the first to say it's based on my knowledge, lack thereof, ignorance, what I know, etc. But people who talk about everything, at least you know where they're coming from. You know if they're coming from a good place or a bad place. I mean, how many YouTubers do you watch that... I mean, I could easily name 3 off the top of my head right now that are iffy to me. I'm like, I wouldn't trust them watching my dog. You know, so... How many people do you watch? And... it's not for everybody either, so that works for some viewers. They don't care about, they just want to hear the words, you know, what's being said. They don't care about where it's coming from. Or I'm a person that cares more about where the words are coming from. What? Indianapolis Colts shirt sold for $18, headed to Indiana. There's a tag in there. I was like, what is that? I prefer to listen to people where I know where that they're coming from a decent or good place, you know. they're not doing it for malicious or selfish. Well, can't say selfish reasons. Guess that's not fair. How about totally selfish? That might be better. They're not coming at you for totally selfish reasons. I mean, I'm making 2 and 3 videos a day for kind of selfish reasons. I'm enjoying it. I know it'll grow the YouTube channel. I'm having fun growing the YouTube channel. And with that fun comes more money also with the views. So that I would be lying if I didn't say, as little as that means to me, it's still there. So there's still a little feed of selfish. But then the bigger parts is, it makes me feel like I'm not alone all day. It makes some of you guys feel like you're not alone all day. Like that trumps the like if I wasn't getting paid, I'd still probably be doing it. You know, just to if I wasn't getting paid to grow the channel, I would still be growing the channel just because I enjoy the art of trying to grow it, you know. Trying to get the right wording to get a pop, will anything ever go viral, you know, that whole feel. But the majority of it is selfishly so I don't feel alone, and that it makes a lot of you feel the same way. Differencia cassette tape headed to Colorado, sold for $10. And another selfish part of it is, the other day I started to click on a video with Vernon. Watched it for a few minutes and turned it off. The more time goes on, the more I'm going to appreciate those videos. So that's selfish in my part. I wish that my dad would have been more of a interactive type of person where he could have appeared on it, you know. Like the whole time he was here, 5 years, I think he walked down the steps once, you know, and that's because, you know, he would have a hard time walking down the steps because he'd have to bring his oxygen down and things like that, right? He came down one time without his oxygen, and I hollered at him, like, what are you doing? Because he wasn't supposed to be without that oxygen, not even for a minute. It was that bad, you know, So I do wish that I could have interacted more with him. And I did little videos that probably are up on Facebook, but I don't think there was ever nothing added to this channel that I can remember. Ship and Shore vintage blouse. Sold for $20, headed to Pennsylvania. Like how much, you know, it would have been cool. Just put it in there. I don't feel like opening up one of those right now. You know, it would have been cool to be doing this video, and all of a sudden my dad pops on video and looks at him, what are you doing? You know, because he didn't understand technology and stuff. You know, he was still thrilled with GPS. You know, whenever we'd get in the car and go somewhere, he'd be like, man, I wish I had this when I was driving the truck. You know, he was just GPS alone. He always got a kick out of it. So I always made sure the GPS was on. He could watch it, and he really loved the GPS. Larry. Like he always would always ask, what's the internet? And explain it to him. It's like a telephone line, but yet it's not just voices. You can see pictures on it. But I don't think he ever really got it and understood it, because he always asked about my store, the eBay store. Like, where's your store at? And I'm like, it's online. It's just in this world that doesn't really exist. It's very hard for me to try to explain it to him in a way he would understand. I was never able to really do that. No matter how many different ways I tried to explain what my store was, what the internet was, he never really got it. And I think that's another reason why I always try to just always keep an eyes and ears open to learn as much as I can, because he wasn't, he had to drop out of school in, what was it, 3rd grade or 5th grade, because he had polio, and then he spent the next 8 years in a hospital bed. Then Shriners paid for his surgery. He lied and joined the military right after that. Lied about his age. Was in the Marines for 4 years. And then without knowing how to read and write, he did the military, drove a truck across country for Koken manufacturer, barber chair stuff. And he did all that without knowing how to read and write. He could barely sign his name. Roy Ayers, 45 record, headed to Florida, sold for $550. So I always thought, if he can do all that with very little knowledge and very little things learned, what can I do with the more stuff I learn? I think that's where I find myself lately, where I want to learn stuff, but I just don't have the time right now. Like, I started to look in Discord yesterday. What is Discord exactly? I've never even, everybody always talks about it, but I've never paid attention to it. I don't even know what it is, what it does. So yesterday I watched one little video about how, you create your own server or something. So I'm just now learning about that, because I just never put time into it. All right. Then we got a couple of international. Boy, this video went everywhere for us. Jan came home not feeling good yesterday either. Went straight to bed. Her Crohn's is messing up too. So she's having a hard time right now. And then today, my body just didn't want to get out of bed, and I got a little bit of a sore throat, so she thinks she was sick. So I don't know if I'm getting sick also. Norton. Larry. And she didn't even ask for a Christmas item, if she sold anything when she came home. She's straight to bed. And she asked them to try to get somebody to open for her this morning so she could sleep in. So. But, of course, I didn't find her nobody. So she had to go in this morning. I think she supposed to get off at 3 today. And I think she's off tomorrow, so she can go to lay in bed all day. Get better. Ate another salad yesterday. So I've always been like, when it comes to, when I did eat salads, like French dressing was my only dressing. Like I don't like ranch and never really tried much anything else. It was always French or nothing, right? That was, so my first salad was Jack in the Box, the Southwest chicken salad, and they had like a Southwest dressing, which I liked. Then my next salad was Chick-fil-A with the spicy, with the Southwest type of dressing. So I like that. And I got an extra one just in case I go somewhere that don't have a dressing I don't like. So yesterday's was a Denny's prime rib salad. And I tried Thousand Islands dressing. I'm like, I like that. And Jan's like, yeah, it's just what's on Big Macs. I'm like, oh, okay. So I like that. That works. So I'm getting more into the salad game. Eat better. I did get a little side of seasoned fries to go with it, though. Mostly for baby girl. Because I spoil her now whenever I eat. She's always getting something. When I had the fajitas, she ate good that night because she got the steak. She got some steak. All right, get these two international ones out of here. Scanned form printed last night, so that's good. Parachute. I don't know why he didn't ship this yesterday. I pulled it. He got home late because he played hockey and then he got our food. So he was shipping till like 11, and then he has to get up at 7 to go to work. So we got the Coca-Cola straw holder going up to Canada, sold for $20. And I pulled the box out for that. And some air bubbles. Surround yourself with the air bubbles. Alrighty, box 15 by 11 by 7. 310. That's straw holder. Whoops, wrong spot. 310. $20. What is USPS 26. Boy, Captain, you're almost ready to print international with UPS. Print label. Oh yeah, I haven't done this in a while. And every other time I always put them all on here and they seem to get where they're going. So 101. Got Obama for President hat headed to the UK, sold for $15. And I got to resurface 2 items and get to the post office. I slacked yesterday in listing, man. I don't know, I guess yesterday I think is when I started not feeling, my body not feeling too good, so I kind of just slacked off. $14.98. Try to stay more focused today and get more done. How many international? So only 2 international in the last 24 hours. So we're 11 a.m. and I haven't moved. $182. So nothing is sold in the last hour, unfortunately. All right. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks.